Live.
What is up? It is another season 2 of the Hoof Live. I'm your host, Sterling. We got Anthony up top there looking snazzy, my guy.
Woo, ready to go. Yeah, this is exciting. We've had a little bit of time off. A lot of changes going on, as you can see behind me. I am packing up. We are leaving Denver. We hit the road next week, Monday. Moving back to New York, moving back to Syracuse, be with family. Super exciting. Going to go to a lot of Bills home games this year because I'm going to be there, baby. So excited for that. We got a lot of changes going on at the Hoof, huh?
Yeah.
This is exciting. I'm just glad to be back, hanging out with you guys and talking Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, it looks like y'all are you guys are packed back there. You got just moving.
You should terrible. See obviously not my usual setup here. I'm at a folding table and a folding chair with the one light I kept out in the computer. So we're making it work today.
And then you got Eric down there looking all cozy.
I know.
I mean, are you getting in touch with your feminine side with them bags? And
so we've had so much time away from football that, yes, I actually have. Thanks for noticing. But, the offseason's coming to an end, so it's time to get back at it. I miss talking Bills. I miss, tracking Josh Allen's every move. So I'm excited to be here for season 2.
Yeah. No, there's so many we got so many cool things planned for season 2 of the Hoof. And this is actually our Eric, this is our 4th season of actually being content creators. This is our 4th season, 2nd year doing live shows. And dude, I'm telling you, I'm not gonna lie. Like I was loving not having to prepare and grind tape and do all that for shows, and because we went hard all year, right? And I didn't know how much I was like, I don't like football right now until after the draft. And I was like, we went on our break and it's been fantastic. I mean, listen, we needed it. I needed it.
For sure.
I was getting burnt out. I needed it. We're doing 2 shows a week, and that's not even including the guest appearances that some of us do here. All of our guys at Cover One, we grind. This is the Cover One network, just so you guys know. And we are happy that you guys are tuning in with us. But before we even get into anything else, we got shout outs, man. We got to do some little shout outs. We got Dawn in here. What's up, Dawn? She's watching the All-Star game and watching us. We appreciate it. All-Star game is here in Denver. It's been popping downtown all weekend long. It's been really cool. Traz, man, thank you. We are happy to be back. And my guy, Chris Janke, the real Chris Janke. He says, yo, what's up, Hoof guys? Glad you're back. Chris, man, what is going on, man? We are glad to be back. And my guy, Randy, he says, back from summer vacation, huh? Yes, Randy, back from
more like a spring vacation now.
Yes, yeah. Hey, Chris wants to know how the baby's doing. Anthony?
Oh, he's doing great. Thank you for asking. He's getting bigger, man. He's 5 months, almost 6 months now. With the road trip, we're driving from Denver to Syracuse. That should be quite the adventure. But he's doing great. He's still so good to us. Very well behaved. We love him. I'll have to bring him down one of these days, one of these weeks.
Hey, your own brother is busting your chops, buying Anthony AirPod Pro, so I don't see that cord this year.
Don't worry, we got the fancy setup, and it's coming with me to New York. So
y'all know Anthony is really cheap. That boy cheap.
Hell no, I bought the good stuff. My mic is packed. Everything is coming with me, though. It's not.
How long did it take for us to get this guy to get equipment? How long has it been?
Hey, I've hit the lowest salary of the three of us, too.
At least 1 year.
Salary of the three of us.
And I had to go set it up for him, too, at his house.
The most student loans and the lowest salary. And yes, that second part is true. Eric, I would be
had to go to your
technologically house. Declined without Eric.
Hey, that's all right though, man. You're all the love, Anthony, man. We appreciate you as he drinks his little Gatorade over there. But Look, Jason Taylor says, "What's up? Long time no see, man. What's going on, Jason?" So look, we are officially back. Some highlights over the I don't know if you guys have any, but this is how you know when it's time for football. Right before I log in, it was an hour before the show, and I'm looking at TMZ, because you just get the juicy stuff. Not that I was looking for anything football related, but you just get juicy stuff on TMZ. And all of a sudden, I see this headline that like Karen goes wild in Victoria's Secret. So I'm like, okay, like we throwing lingerie, we're panties, what are we doing? Well, neither. So apparently, allegedly, okay, this Karen and this worker at Victoria's Secret get into a little scuffle. Now, when I hear scuffle in the hood, we're like, okay, it's fisticuffs, right? Well, 2021, a scuffle can be arguing, right? So anyway, apparently Karen tries to attack Victoria's Secret worker. Maybe she didn't want to go get, some panties out of the back, or she was like, oh no, these are not 5 for 19. These are 3 for 25. And maybe she was mad. Who knows? But anyway, I'm going to tell you something. When you talk about an acting job and deception, this Karen lays on the floor. Like, I'm talking, y'all should go to TMZ and you'll see it. This lady just act like she passes out. She doesn't just like flop, but she like every section of her body like hits, right? And then she's just laying there, and then she gets up and she starts screaming and gyrating and yelling. And that's when I knew. I said, you know what? It's time for football. I can't do it no more. Yeah, I can't do it no more.
Need to go back into my hole.
Listen,
study football.
We got Frank Clark out here with Uzis. Frank Clark, I don't know what Frank Clark is preparing for, the apocalypse. Who the hell knows? But my guy got caught with some Uzis. Whatever's going on out there, it's in the water.
Hey, they need football too, right? They're like, all right, give us football back.
Yeah, it's rough. I'm over here watching. God, what is that musical? In the Heights. Listen, I didn't know. Let me tell you something, man. I'm not a musical guy. Okay. Yeah. I know Anthony Alexander Hamilton.
Yeah, that's right.
That's you, right?
Manuel wrote that.
In the flesh. In the flesh.
In the Heights is low key slaps, bro. I ain't even gonna cap. It low key slaps.
Manuel, everything he touches is gold, man.
Apparently.
He actually wrote that before. That was his first musical, In the Heights. Then he did Hamilton, and Hamilton blew up, and now he made In the Heights. But yeah, love both of those.
Yeah,
I haven't seen either one.
What? Oh, Eric, you're killing us. You got to watch those.
They're Broadway shows only, right?
Not well.
They turned it into a movie for Hamilton. They recorded it, basically, them doing the play.
I see.
Yeah. So, Eric, what's been going on with you this summer, man? What?
I have been going outside. Kind of weird.
Wow.
Yeah.
You want to talk about it? Or
I've been hiking all over the place, been driving upstate, seeing family, because we lived in Colorado for 6 years. So back in New York, visiting tons of family. My entire family lives in central New York. So we've literally just been all over the place, doing family stuff, traveling around, hiking a ton, going back to my dad's farm, throwing some hay bales. I know Sterling did that with me one time.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yeah. Confirmed. Had to do it once.
It feels good, though. It feels good. Summer in New York's great.
That's right.
We always trash New York's weather, but I swear there's no better place to be in the summertime than the Northeast.
I'm going to disagree.
It just works for me. It works for me.
It's nice.
That boy's no.
For a few months, you enjoy every beautiful day there is. That's for sure.
I don't know why y'all lying, but that's okay. Just because both of you guys are moving to living in New York. You guys left me out here in Denver. Yeah. I see how you're gonna do me. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm not coming to New York. The only time I'm coming to New York is if I'm going to a Bills game or visit one of you jokers. Other than that, you can miss me all day.
Start this right now because if the Bills win the Super Bowl, will you move to New York?
Nope.
No, come on.
I can have the luxuries.
What is this if nonsense?
I can have the luxuries of living in Colorado where it's amazing all the time and watch the Bills on TV. Oh my God. Yeah.
What do you like about Colorado that you don't think New York offers?
The weather. Don't get me started. I'm coming for a job and for family.
Sure.
I didn't want to leave Colorado, but my family and the job I got is in New York.
But
and I'm happy to go back to New York, but I'm not happy to leave Colorado.
Well, it will, Colorado will miss you guys. I will miss you guys, as you already know. Eric, you've been there for a while. Anthony, you're on your way out. Success to you all. I think we all three of us this year have we've kind of upgraded and changed our lives in different ways, and it's been really cool. Hey, we can't complain, and we get season 2 of the Hoof live coming at you. We got some pretty amazing things lined up for you guys this year. We're going to be giving out jerseys when the season starts. We're going to be mixing things up. So you're going to be seeing a little different flavors of the Hoof this year. And then, we all are going to start doing our guest appearances and having guests on and so forth. So, man, it's going to be fun. And actually, before we jump into everything, we have a freaking awesome and amazing sponsor here. So this is Underdog Fantasy is the place to play fantasy sports, including best ball, daily drafts, and pick'em. You can start drafting in minutes for a shot at big cash prizes. And if you use the promo code COVER1, they will match your deposit up to $25. So Underdog Fantasy, check them out. This is a player prop fantasy sports, okay? Player prop parlays, okay? There's things you can't say. I don't know the legalities, but
yeah, it's certainly going to be a lot of fun. I'm super pumped for this. Basically, what it means is all of us guys at Cover One can post our picks, our lineup, our fantasy lineup for the week, and compare it or share it and say, okay, we're going to put $5 on this lineup or whatever it may be. And you can also, with the player prop parlays, that's actually a very cool thing where you can bet on things like or Stephon Diggs will go over 100 yards or, Josh Allen over 300 yards passing. So it's going to be an awesome thing to jump into. We're excited for, and we'll be sharing that along. You'll see it on all of our Twitter. All of us Cover One guys are going to get involved in fantasy lineups, all of that daily fantasy stuff. It's going to be super exciting.
Yes, sir. Okay. All right. So now that we got that out of the way, okay, shall we start catching up with this news? Okay. So as you guys know, what we like to do, what's popping? Okay. What's popping is where we go around the NFL. We talk about the latest and the greatest. Okay. Nothing too crazy, but the offseason does bring a few headlines, and we're going to talk about a couple of them here. And that's okay. So our very first one. Okay, here we go, guys. Now, Mahomes. Okay, so Mahomes in the golf tournament. Now, for those of you who don't know how our show works, I bring forth topics that these guys do not see, and this is their chance to react. Okay, so fellas, I'll start with Eric first. I'm going to let Anthony finish. But Mahomes, when speaking about Justin Herbert, now he says, I see it when I believe it. So basically, a heckler was like, Mahomes, you're trash, basically. Okay. And he's like, watch out for Justin Herbert. And my guy Mahomes is like, I'll see it when I believe it. That's not really what you say, right? I don't think he meant it that way, but we all kind of understand what he really means. I'll believe it when I see it, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, is it beef with Justin Herbert, or is it just defense?
I don't think it's beef. I'd say it's defense because, let's face it, I mean, the biggest threat to Pat Mahomes in that division is clearly Justin Herbert. This guy had a phenomenal rookie season. Finishing the season with a quarterback rating of 98.3. It's the 4th best ever for a rookie quarterback, only behind Dak Prescott, RG3, Russell Wilson. And what's really impressive about Justin Herbert's season in my eyes was he threw the ball so many times, 595 pass attempts, and he still maintained, the high quarterback rating at, moving forward. And I like what Justin Herbert has to offer as a passer. I think he just needs to put it all together. He seems to fall off in the fourth quarter, much better in the first half than the second half, things like that. Put a full game together. But I really think that Justin Herbert's going to be a Charger for 10 years. And he'll be facing Pat Mahomes, twice a year. So I don't blame Pat Mahomes for maybe taking a little shot, just to. hey, I'm still king here. Just stay down there where you are.
Yeah, but this is what's funny to me. This is what I don't like. Why poke the bear if you're Patrick Mahomes? For fun? Like, come on. You're talking about, as you said, Eric, this is the next best guy in your division. This is your number one opponent. You think Josh Allen's going to go out there and say, okay, every other quarterback in the AFC East, you suck, and I don't believe in you? No, because we'd be like, Josh Allen, why focus on your damn self? We don't care about those other guys. We know they suck, but that's okay. Right. But this guy's legitimate. We're talking about the guy who, as a rookie, the quarterback who impressed more than the guys who were drafted above him and did more than those guys. That, granted, we're talking an injury to Joe Burrow, but still, by far, he made the Dolphins, at least everybody start talking. Did they make a mistake in drafting Tua and not Herbert? And now he single-handedly is the leader of this team with the Chargers, the best chance to knock Kansas City off at any point in the season. Both times they play them. I mean, you have to see this team twice a year. Why would you do that? This is stupid by Mahomes. Keep your mouth shut and just keep winning. Because this guy is now going to come out. He's now going to come out when he faces you and want to throw 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. And when he does, he's going to be like this. You see me now? You see me now, Mahomes? Because there I am. And, we'll see.
The Chargers did almost beat them.
Didn't the Chargers beat them at the end of the season? I'm pretty sure Chargers beat them, and they lost by 3 points in the first meeting in week 2.
I mean, and again, if they were competent with coaching last year, as much as we love Anthony Lynn, he did a terrible job last year. And now we don't know what to expect from this team, but they got a lot of good talent there around him, and they're building it the right way, kind of like the Bills did around that quarterback. And I'm telling you that for Pat Mahomes to do this, he's going to regret it this season. Whether it's in matchup 1 or matchup 2, Herbert's going to go off more than Mahomes, put up better stats than Mahomes, and do this and say, you see me now.
Okay.
Because it's stupid.
Pat
Why give him fuel?
He's accomplished so much in the league in the short time he's been in the league. He has everything to lose and nothing to gain.
Exactly.
No matter what he says, someone will spin it on him. This is why he didn't want to do the throwing contest with Josh Allen, because he has everything to lose.
I think you guys are forgetting the competitive spirit of these players. Like Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Josh Allen even. He had to tone it down a little bit. These guys are ultra competitive, and they think, and Patrick Mahomes has every right to say, I'm the best quarterback on the planet right now. He has every right to say that. And if you're the top dog, I would talk crap to Justin Herbert to his face just because, I'm going to give you something else to think about because I'm that dude.
And he can't talk back.
There's a difference, though, with fueling the fire before it happens and talking about the other player. Josh Allen would say, I'm the best quarterback in the world. To Pat Mahomes' face, right? Josh Allen would say that. That's how competitive he is. I'm the best, and I'm going to beat you. What Pat Mahomes said is, I'm better than you, and I'm king of the world, right? And I don't believe in you, and you suck.
He just said, look, in passing, and it was very Patrick Mahomes, humility in passing.
I mean, he didn't go that far, but
right. But you get it. But deep down, the competitive spirit, and he's like, man, that's that dude. Like,
but that's my point.
Show me. He's like, show me that you're good, right?
Josh Allen would be trained to say, I cannot wait to face him this year and see what he can do. I've been impressed with him so far, but seeing him against our defense is going to be fun, or something like that. Right?
Josh Allen even
he's not going to say, I'm better than him. I got to wait to see what he is. He won't even say that about these rookie quarterbacks.
I love Josh Allen, but in the media, that boy, he is drinking the McDermott juice all the way. It is very, and I appreciate it, but it's very, such and such is a great player. They're the best in the world kind of thing. But behind closed doors, my guy's talking trash. But let's move on, shall we? Let's keep it moving. Okay, so next topic. Jaylen Ramsey was in an interview on a show, and he names Trey White as one of his top 5 corners in the NFL. Now, he wasn't just speaking of Trey White when he made this comment, but he was saying all 5 of these guys he would like to team up with at some point in his career. Says he wouldn't mind teaming up if given the opportunity. Now, I think we can all agree that Jaylen Ramsey is the best cornerback in football, and I don't think it's close. I think there's something to be said for Jair Alexander up in there, right? Trey White, I would say Trey White right now is probably 5th. on that list. But what say you, Eric? What do you think about now I know this is a fantasy moment, and I don't think that, I ain't never seen McDermott have two solid corners like I mean, those would be elite all-pro corners. But what are your thoughts on Jaylen Ramsey's comments?
It's just for him to mention Tre'Davious White in the top 5 conversation, I think says a lot, because obviously Jaylen Ramsey is somebody who knows the game. He's behind the scenes. He knows what to look for. I mean, I think that matters. And Trey, as we know from getting to know him the past few years, extremely bright, and he just continues to get better year in, year out. He's just a guy you don't have to worry about. And really, that's kind of what you want from a cornerback. But just for him to put Trey White's name in the top 5, I think says a lot about, what character Trey White has.
Okay. Anthony?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about respect here. I don't think Jaylen Ramsey would say it just to say it. I don't think Jaylen Ramsey would say it if Trey White was his best friend, if he didn't believe it, right? This means, hey, I think this guy's one of the top 5 in the NFL. And I know we were talking a little bit before we went on about the PFF rankings that didn't even have Trey White, in the top 10, I think. But they ding him for not getting targeted, which is a weird thing to get dinged for, because he's clearly the best player on the field, which is why they don't throw to him if they can prevent it. But yeah, I mean, Trey White, I would love to see these two team up. I don't know how that happens because they're on, NFC and AFC. So even in a Pro Bowl, I don't think we'd see it. But, it could, if maybe eventually Ramsey wants to come to the Bills. We know how McDermott likes to operate with one veteran and one star. But, I don't know that would ever happen in Buffalo. I certainly wouldn't mind it. I don't think any Bills fan would if it were possible. But, yeah, it's a fun thing to think about. And Trey White gets the respect he deserves and has earned every year he's played in the NFL. Even last year, it wasn't his best year statistically, but he played a damn good year.
Yeah, he did. It
was probably his worst season. So, I mean, yeah, he's definitely a top 5 cornerback in my book. No matter what your statistics or whatever you're looking at on the field, it's Trey White's up there.
I mean, I do believe Trey White is a top 5 cornerback. And if I were an honest man, I'd probably say, based off of last year, I would say Trey White comes in at number 5. I think, you have, I think Jaylen Ramsey, number 1. I think you got to go Jair Alexander in there. I mean, there's some really good cornerbacks in this league. I think Trey White is better than Xavier Howard.
Yeah.
I would say Xavier Howard's right behind him. But Xavier Howard is a better ball hawk than he is, for sure. But I think Trey White is an overall better cornerback, right?
Consistency, too. Injuries. Right. I mean, if you take anything into account, Trey White's in the top 5. I don't care what you put in or leave out other than getting targeted, which to me doesn't make sense. But
it comes down to what they're asked to do. I think Trey White is great in coverage. Did he miss a lot of tackles last year? I mean, a lot's a stretch, but he definitely missed some key tackles. And that's PFF had low grades on his tackling ability. And then that's just part of playing corner. I mean, Trey White's a phenomenal zone coverage cornerback. He definitely belongs in the top 10 in that sense. Man-to-man, we don't see it a lot, right? Some of the other guys are better man-to-man cornerbacks, I would say. And some of these other guys are much better at getting up and getting physical.
Right.
Jaylen Ramsey's extremely physical, stopping the run, making the tackle.
Oh, yeah, he's a complete cornerback. And Trey's not bad. I mean, Trey is improved. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I mean, yeah, but he's not asked to mirror number 1 wide receivers that much, just based on the scheme, right? But we have seen him do it. We've seen him do it and be effective while doing it. I just think, guys like Stephon Gilmore, Jair Alexander, Jaylen Ramsey, those guys do it better in terms of that, shut down number 1 corner kind of thing. So, yes, that is also true. That is also true. That is also true. Trey is clutch, leads the league in fourth quarter interceptions since he's entered the league. Absolutely. Take away, they call him take away. He calls himself take away Trey for a reason. Trey White is a dog. Like Trey White's that guy. Trey White is a damn good cornerback. We're happy to have him on these Bills. So as we just segue to our Bills conversation, we definitely have to let's get it in. This is the Inside Slant. This is where we talk about our Buffalo Bills and what's been going on at One Bills Drive. our first topic of the night. We kind of want to, talk about the draft and the roster recap. I know we didn't do a draft recap show. We may have talked about it on different shows and so forth, but we really never got our thoughts collectively together live. And while we're doing this, why don't we just kick it off and get it started? You got to be honest, okay? What was your initial thought when you saw the name Gregory Rousseau come up on the ticker? What was your initial thought?
Well, I can start because I was live on the Cover One channel with Anthony Prohaska for the draft. So you saw my reaction to the first two picks that the Bills made. And my reaction was kind of honest in the moment. It was just, well, that's not who I thought they were going to take. And okay, they really believe in this guy because, I think we've all seen now Gregory Rousseau was one of those polarizing players. Reminded me a lot of the A.J. Epinesa pick last year, actually, in the second round. A.J. Epinesa, in the beginning of the draft, was supposed to go in the top 10 or top 15 all day long. Every draft had him, and then he slowly fell, and he had bad combine, and it went down and started falling. And for him to be there at 2 in the second round for the Bills, where we were way down, was kind of a surprise pick. Same thing here with the first pick the Bills made this year. Rousseau was a guy who was, some people had him in their top 5 overall picks by at this time last year, right? Before football was canceled and everything. And now all of a sudden he started falling in draft boards, uncertain where he would go. Some people had him going in the second round. Some people had him way after that. Crazy, but the Bills clearly believe in somebody. And what we said on the live show was his size, his skill set is something you can't teach. So, I'm not surprised the Bills picked him after
We'll see.
that.
Eric, what was your thoughts?
I didn't expect him to go at 30. I know we did a lot of scenarios where he was in the second round, but I wasn't as surprised as most people because I was more surprised that they took a guy who hasn't played a lot of football, opted out, for COVID, and but that's just something you got to deal with. But when you look at this guy's physical ability, 6'7", you've seen the photos of him standing over people. I know that's what Brandon Beane likes is size, right? That's what they've always
can't
preached.
Teach that. Right.
Football's a big man's game. He comes from the Dave Gettleman tree, But I was kind of surprised because I was hoping that they would get an impact player, and I don't think Greg Rousseau was that immediate impact guy initially. We'll see moving forward, but I thought for sure they would go with impact, and kind of shocked me a little bit with Greg Rousseau.
I ain't gonna lie, I was like, "What in the actual?" Listen, I didn't like it. I hated it. I'll be honest. It was just like the Epinesa pick. I hated it. And I was on a show, and my head goes down. And it was kind of like when the Bills picked Josh Allen. And I
well, that's a good start. That's a good sign.
I was like, you got the wrong freaking Josh. Now, I was wrong over time, and I hope I'm wrong here. And I didn't like the Epinesa pick at all. Okay.
Here we are three years later, and you're still admitting that you like Josh Rosen over Josh Allen. That takes a man.
Yeah, it takes an honest man. And that's just, that's just how I'm rolling tonight. Listen, but back to Rousseau, I didn't want him. I thought there were other players that you could have gotten. Now, when the dust settled, the smoke clears, or however you want to put it, you think and you go, okay, if I'm Brandon Beane, then as a fan, we start justifying it. Well, he played with the Bills when he plays Madden, or this guy, right? And then you see Eric Washington. You see Eric Washington talk about him, pre-draft, right? When the video comes out, what the Bills do in their draft room, whatever, I forgot what it's called, but and then you kind of put everything together, and then you kind of look, okay, well, they like prototypes, they like big guys, like you guys mentioned, but when you watch the tape, it's like he ain't put it all together yet.
Size was definitely a theme in this draft, but I think there was another theme, and we could talk about this as we go. Some fans think that you can draft for a Super Bowl. There's no such thing, and Beane and McDermott would never say that or think that or whatever. they draft to maintain a good football team. And to maintain a good football team, even the most novice of football minds would tell you defensive line, offensive line, right? And those were themes we saw here. Obviously, we'll get to that. But with this pick, again, another theme we saw with McDermott and Bean is something Eric brought up too: size, measurables, things you cannot teach because they're coming on board. And I'll say this right now: I don't care if Greg Rousseau does nothing this year. I don't care if he gets 5% of the snaps and does absolutely nothing, because he's not there for this year. He's there for next year when we have an aging Jerry Hughes, when we have AJ Epinesa, who, would be one of the starters next to him if that happens. We don't know what's happening for the future. So he's there to learn and groom him. And this also applies to pick number 2, by the way, Basham. It's the same thing. They will get their snaps, but in the beginning of the year, they will not. We know how McDermott deals with rookies. They don't get action at the beginning. Epinesa was inactive for the first 2 games. It got very little snaps and then built up, right? That's how they like to do it. And so I'm not expecting much output from these picks, but the measurables, the size, you can't teach that. And you can teach the things of adjusting to the NFL, using that skill set. He only played, a year of good college football. So, what can he do? He's still very raw. So they believe that they can teach. McDermott and Bean say, we can teach the skilled guys what to do and how to do it. So if we can get their skills, the guys with the best skill set, I don't think there's any doubt of that. Rousseau was the guy with the best physical skill set. There's no guy that tall, that big. I joked that he could stand on the line and just do this, and the quarterback can't pass around him, right? But
he has the mold that you're looking for
sure.
Now you just got to, mold that clay. Like we say this every single year, but it's like he's got the length, right? The unique length, no doubt about it. But
and positional
needs to develop a power game to be fully effective, and then watch out, in my opinion.
Because he's
lined up in multiple positions over the A gap on the outside. I mean, he can do it all. It just needs to develop a power game, and obviously get used to the NFL speed.
You could correct me if I'm wrong, Sterling and Eric. I don't think any of us were surprised they went defensive end. I don't think, that's surprising. That was one of the biggest needs. And people I have,
I think all the fans
chats were asking me, what's the pick today? What's the pick? I said, I don't know who it is, but I know what position it'll be in the first round.
After watching the Super Bowl, I think a lot of Bills fans and a lot of fans across the country anyway realize that you need a pass rush, an effective pass rush with 4 down linemen to stop Pat Mahomes. And that's been the case with Brady for years too. One of the teams that did beat Brady in the playoffs could always rush the passer with 4.
Yeah.
So I think that's key. And I think Brandon Bean noticed that as well.
I was going to go back to our rankings. If you remember the shows we did leading up to the draft, we talked about different positions of need, and we did edge, defensive end. And I had Rousseau in my top 5. And I think I was the only one of us 3 who had him in our top 5, if I remember correctly. But I think I had him at 3 for me. So, I'm not completely upset by the pick. It was a surprise that they went with him over some of the other names that we had heard leading up to the draft. But you can never believe the things you hear before the draft.
It's extremely difficult to even just watch a guy play who hasn't played.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? He had one season, 16 sacks in that season. 500 and 30-something snaps. I mean, had an injury and then opts out. I mean, it's just really, really difficult to get a grasp on what you're looking at.
And Chris asked the question, now that dust has settled, has your opinion changed on the Rousseau pick? Yeah, my stance has changed on it. Is it more, and if you guys haven't watched our guy Eric Turner's breakdown of Gregory Rousseau, you should definitely take a look, because he does a really good job at explaining what the Bills envision him to be doing, right? But in the moment, I would have gone Tevin Jenkins at that moment. I still think Tevin Jenkins is going to be a damn good right tackle. And, the Bills could have used him in a myriad of ways, at guard, tackle. I think we wouldn't have to be sitting here talking about, what's Cody Ford going to do and what's John Feliciano going to do. I still think they're huge question marks going into the season. So I would have done that. A corner. You could have gotten a cornerback. You could have traded back. There's a lot of things you could have done. But I do like, I'm a size guy. I do like measurables. I'm not going to lie. I do like measurables. And he brings all that to the table. So I'm curious to see. I know you guys mentioned you don't care what he does in terms of producing this season. He may not, but I would love to see him produce. I would love to see
absolutely. Anything we get from him is bonus.
Get some opportunities. I want to see what he does, against offensive tackles, because when he's lined up inside, he could be a menace to guards just because his quick step and he's long and rangy and he's good at the point of attack, right? But I want to see him. I want to actually see him beat an offensive tackle off the ball and go get the quarterback. I want to see that development take place year one. So we'll see. And I'm telling you something. I'm not calling Carlos Basham Boogie until he shows me something. Okay. The only boogeyman I know is Gucci Mane. Okay. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, the real ones know Gucci Mane is that dude in the rap game. He's the boogeyman. So until Carlos Basham proves something on the field, then I'll call him Boogie. But until then, you still Carlos player. Still Carlos to me.
That's funny. But another addition, I think this is where the surprise comes for most Bills fan. We picked defensive end. No surprise. Okay, they got their guy. He's big. Okay, maybe not the guy we thought. Round 2, here we go. Cornerback. Yeah, here we go. All these guys on the board. And what do? Defensive end again. And I think this is where the shock started to settle in.
Yeah, it did.
Okay, I got the first one, but now the second one? Really? You're going back to back? And as we heard, obviously now we know that was the one player the Bills wanted. Hey, if we're trading this pick to you, unless our guy's on the board, there's one guy we want. If he's there, we're taking him. And they had to call and say, sorry, our guy's on the board. We're not trading you anymore.
And McDermott loved it. I mean, if you watched Embedded, and McDermott was really happy about the Basham pick.
Yes.
And
so clearly,
I might make a prediction and say Basham's going to have a better statistical year than Greg Rousseau.
A lot of people are saying that, and it wouldn't surprise me.
That's not a shock. That's not a shock at all.
I just think he's more ready to play. He's been consistent throughout college. I mean, he didn't miss a beat, right? Whereas Rousseau, like I mentioned, take the year off. It's going to take a while to get back into the groove.
And obviously with both of these guys, we know how much the Bills rotate on that defensive line. The best of players don't get 50% of the snaps on this line, right? So those rookies are going to be looking at low 20s max of plays.
Chris Yankee, long and rangy was my nickname in college. Not for reasons you guys are thinking, just because he's good at division. So that's the only reason why. That's the only reason why right there. I think the Bills completely drafted. I didn't expect any of it, not like that. And then you follow it up with 2 offensive tackles.
Yeah,
right. You get Spencer Brown and Doyle, and I'm like, I mean, they size mold, right? They're big guys, athletic. Is there? It's just like it's the perfect. Yeah, and I think we talked about this too. We just talked about. I don't know if we actually, not to say we didn't believe it, but it was one of those things where they were going for, they're going for the home run with this draft. It's going to be high production or it's going to be a big bust.
I think you missed the biggest part of that. So yes, it was shocking to go back to back defensive end, and then it's like, okay, we're definitely picking offensive line here, right? Yeah, offensive line. And then the name that comes up is not the one people thought with our third pick. But not only that, did they go back-to-back offensive line? As you said, it's not just offensive linemen. They're offensive tackles, the position that we're more secured at, if anything, right now on this team. So that was also surprising. It's like offensive line all the way. I think most of us would have been like guard, definitely a guard right here. Who's the best guard? Even when Anthony and I were live, we're looking – who's the best guard on the list right now? Here's these names. And then they're like, Spencer Brown. Okay. And again, as you said, Sterling, it's all about the measurables. They sent a message to the NFL. The Buffalo Bills front office said, we are drafting the biggest, most athletic, buff dudes out there that are just inhuman specimens, because we are fully confident that we can teach these guys to become the best at their position.
Let me tell you something.
We don't need them to be all-stars right now, because we're going to teach them how to be all-stars. And that's a big message. I mean, I'm not saying that is a smart way to go or the best way to go, but that is clearly what they're saying here. We're going to draft the guys intangibles and show what they can do on the field.
Eric, let me tell you how we know Anthony is already in midseason form. Because he's drinking the juice already. He's drinking the juice already.
Again, I don't believe.
You haven't even put pads on yet.
That's not my statement. I'm not saying anything.
I'm just
like
messing, man.
But that is what McDermott and Bean are saying, and I certainly hope they can do it, because otherwise these are going to be the biggest big dude busts in the NFL, right? Like if they drafted these guys in the first and third round who have immeasurable sizes at their position and are complete, off the charts in terms of their measurables, but don't end up having that skill set, then what they're saying is going to fall flat on its face. You were not able to turn that into production.
And the one thing you can't develop is size.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You can add a few pounds here, but to have a large frame, I think you just have to have the genetics for that. And all these guys have that. That's the one constant in this draft is maybe they're invested in the future, right? Yeah. I don't think any of these players will have a huge impact this year. If there is one, it's probably Boogie Basham. It's always Greg Rousseau later on. You would expect that. But I think 2 years down the road, a guy like Spencer Brown, if he can, develop into a starting caliber tackle, he's a guy that can play for a long time because he has the size and the athleticism.
So here, let me answer a question here. So does Dawkins move inside on his next contract? No, he does not. No. The Dawkins will stay at tackle, and I think you have to, again, not from your own lens, but you got to look at it from the lens of the team. They went trenches because that's where Brandon Beane, when we lost to the Houston Texans in the first that playoff appearance, Josh Allen's first playoff game. He kind of mentioned that, the last game of the season, this is where all your flaws are going to show up, right? You're going to get exposed. And I'm talking about the playoffs against Kansas City, and it was in the trenches. Offensive line, defensive line were dominated. And they had no answer from Mahomes. Chris Jones destroyed the offensive line single-handedly. I don't know if y'all remember that, right? But Chris Jones wrecked the Bills, wrecked them, and it wasn't pretty. So
he knocked Feliciano the F out,
bro. And everyone's like, Mongo's he's the enforcer. Not today, boy. Not today. Because my guy Chris Jones made him look like he was a rag doll. Just poof. You know how like when your little brother's like trying to, I'm gonna take you out, and you just go poof. That's pretty much what Chris Jones did to the Bills' entire offensive line. Yeah. And your boy, see, this is why I get mad at Mitch Morse, because he could should have been like, hey, dog, let me tell you. He coming. I look, I was on this team for 4 years. And, I mean, you've seen him, but I don't know if you've really seen him. Well, the Bills really seen him. So that's why they got to protect their asset, which is Josh Allen. You don't need Josh Allen running around the yard all the time. And up front on defense, the defensive line was the highest paid in the league last year and gave us really didn't give us as much as we expected for what they paid for, right? So it makes sense that you take high risk, high reward players, because if you hit on a Carlos Basham or Gregory Rousseau, a Spencer Brown or Doyle, Doyle could be kicked in the guard. You just never know, right?
There is something to be said about what you mentioned, that they drafted. When you draft two, if one of them becomes a star, nobody will remember what happened to the other guy. If Greg Rousseau is a giant bust and Carlos Basham becomes a 5-time all-star best player in the NFL, nobody's going to care who Greg Rousseau was or where he was drafted, right? It's all going to be about, Boogie Basham's the guy, and the Bills drafted him and created him into what he was. And that's the same thing they did at the tackle position. So they really kind of took this security of like, okay, we need long-term answers at defensive end and tackle. We are loading up. We're going to find our guy. We're going to test this theory, and we're going to turn these raw but talented players into the best that they can be. And it was definitely a clear message sent. So there's something to be said about that strategy as well. I don't know if that's strategy I would have taken, but as much as they talk about best player on the board, can we kill that theory now? Because they clearly had a message here. Of
they had a theme.
This is what we have to do.
They had a template. We can get into the rest of the draft picks later, but let's talk about the roster as a whole. What in your guys' mind, and this is off the cuff, and I would love for you guys in the chat to chime in here. What is, looking at this roster, right? And I know a lot of us have butterflies coming into training camp and preseason. We're all excited. But what is the weakest position group on paper right now? I'll give you a second to think about that. We're talking the weakest position group right now in the Buffalo Bills on paper, okay? Because that matters, right? I think the Bills may be short up. You got to look at what they've done in free agency, right? And in the draft. So right now, what do you think? And I'm putting you on the spot. What do you guys think the biggest weakness on paper is?
Tight end.
You think it's tight end?
I still think it's tight end.
Okay.
And I'm a big Dawson Knox fan. I think he could develop into a starting tight end. We've had this conversation a million times, but he just hasn't yet. 200, receiving yards a season is not a premier tight end in the league. Even though you're athletic and all those things.
Well, I'll counter that by saying that they don't use the tight end as much, right?
But it's still, in my opinion, the weakest because he hasn't shown the entire package yet.
You don't like the addition.
That's fair.
I like Hollister, but when you look around this roster, it's competitive. It's stacked.
Yeah,
all the way through. I mean, even quarterback is stacked with Mitch Trubisky coming over. You know what I'm saying? So, if you have to pick one, I think it's tight end all day.
You could argue that, right? That's why there's conversations out there forever, rumors. It's soon. It's happening soon, guys. Real soon. Zach Ertz, right? It's happening soon.
Yeah.
Wait, it's soon. Soon.
I know.
6 months later, soon the Bills are going to get.
I think it's fair to say this team does not have a premier tight end that can do everything for them. Dawson Knox is improving, but he's not a top 10 tight end.
I'm on the train with a lot of the people in the chat, it seems, at guard. That was the first thing that popped into mind, right? Because who are our starting guards? Feliciano, who we just heard Sterling bash about the AFC Championship game, and we know he's not exactly an all-star guard. He has a lot of things that the team likes, and he brings a lot to the team, but I wouldn't call him one of the best guards in the NFL by any stretch of the imagination. And then we have a giant question mark in Cody Ford. This is a make-or-break year for him, basically. You've been injured. You have shown nothing to the sort of what you can do or what your best position is. So you need to put up, and they're putting him out there as the starter at guard right now. And in terms of the depth, if one of those guys, if Feliciano gets hurt or if Ford doesn't put up, who do we have behind them? Forrest Lamp? I don't know.
Bobby Hart.
So Bobby Hart, it doesn't make me comfortable. I'm much more comfortable with the tackle situation, but the guard situation, and if you think about what the Bills need to do better, running the ball, your guards are going to need to play a role in that. Even protecting Josh Allen, which is the most important thing, they got to do better at that. So, I'm not feeling comfortable about that.
I agree. I think it's guard. And I told you, what Chris Jones showed you what he did to the Bills offensive line in the AFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was too close, but for the sake of being different than you guys, running back. Listen, I know we got Matt Breida. Yay. Matt Breida.
I like Breida, but he's not a game changer.
We're talking about Matt Breida. Player. Devin Singletary's still slow. Zach Moss still slow. I just look.
You think that's a weak position for us?
Yeah.
I like the trio. I think works.
Exactly.
If you got three running backs, you ain't got one. Them boys.
Many teams across the league run three running backs.
Let me ask you a question.
Together make one good running back.
Other than in the fourth quarter in garbage time when we've already run the game, how many times do you think we're going to run the ball 3 plays in a row?
If they do, it's Josh Allen.
You think we're running a single wing?
Zero all year.
What do you think this is? This is not Little League football. We're not running the ball 3 times in a row. But when short yardage situations, if Josh is not running the ball, we can't get a freaking first down. It's tough. Get 3rd and 2nd is tough. It is tough for the Bills in short run situations to get first downs because your guards are trash. They're average to below average, and your running backs are not that good. They are not. No. They are average Joes until they prove otherwise. That's just it.
Average Joes is definitely not the
best. It's not the best position group.
It's
but
weak.
I think
it's weak.
They're not the worst though.
What did I say?
Because I think the 3 of them together, they all have their strengths. I think it works.
They have high
Now,
upside, but they
Jason
also have
says
high
a trio does not
upside?
work. But New England's ran a trio for 20 years against other teams. Kyle Shanahan runs a trio of running backs.
Guess what?
If
I mean,
any of those guys were the bell cow, if any one of those guys,
hold on, Anthony. Let me get into that. They both have better offensive lines than the Bills. They both have solid guard play. The Bills
So
are
you're
not
saying
in the same. Hold on,
the
the Bills
offensive
are not
line
in the
makes the
same.
running back better, so therefore the running back is not the,
No, I'm not saying that, but
that's where
they complement each other.
I'm on Eric's
They
team,
complement each other, and if your guards are trash, that's why I think that's part of the reason why the Bills have to throw the ball all over the yard.
That's why my answer was guard and not running back.
Right. And what did I
guard
say?
Is important.
Anthony. I said, just to be different. I said, guard is my initial pick.
Yeah.
But I said, just to be different, running back is still a weak position.
But that's my argument. You put Singletary on the team with the best offensive line, and he's a guaranteed 1,000-yard rusher. You put Moss on a team with the best offensive line, and he's a guaranteed 1,000-yard rusher. You put Matt Breida on the best offensive line, and he's a guaranteed 100,000-yard rusher. So, I mean, it's not –
I can't say.
Those guys, they're all capable. And as I was saying before, they have high ceilings. They're all very capable. They could be bell cows on any other team, but that's not the style of the Buffalo Bills running room. And then low floors, unfortunately. If they get hurt, if they, are stumbling, if the offensive line isn't good enough,
expectations for the running back room are really high. Because Josh Allen did too much last year.
Josh Allen's not a running back.
No, but he did too much. I mean, the offseason goal, I think, for Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott, you got to take the pressure off of Josh Allen, run the ball more effectively. He just can't be running around and doing everything himself. He should not be plowing over linebackers.
Yes.
Some of it's on him. A lot of it's on scheme. They're putting back there in empty sets a lot.
You're not one of those guys who's saying he should never run, right? Because to me, that's stupid. Josh Allen will always take what's given to him. He's going to run when it's there. He's not afraid to run. Now he needs to slide and he needs to do more running out of bounds or whatever when it's there. And I agree that he has been put in too many situations where he has to run and they don't give it to the running back, because they don't trust them or whatever. But I think that falls on the offensive line in the scheme. Period.
Chris, no, we're not. You're not going on deaf ears here, my guy. We're just, we always throw you in there, bro. So just you're. It's all good. No, but
Randy's giving me a hard time already. First day back here.
Hey, one thing I appreciate about Randy, and he will bust your ass. If you coming up here with some weak. He gonna bust your ass.
Better come prepared.
It's funny. I like argue with him though. I like argue with him because it's funny. Even though I'm right most of the time, bro. So it's okay. But anyway,
Men in the Kitchen is right. Moss and Singletary can't run away from anyone, but they can run through a couple of guys, and they can dodge a few tackles, which is what they're there for. That's their skill set. Matt Breida, he'll run by anybody and everybody pretty much in the world. He's one of the fastest guys in the NFL. So. Yeah, I mean, that's what he's there for. Change of pace. That's why they signed a guy like that.
Yeah, there's a reason he's on a different team every year, but we'll get to that later.
Exactly.
Rent me for a year. But you know what, though? Here's the deal. It's like, it's fun to talk about this stuff again, right? Like, we're getting back into the swing of the season. We got some pretty good some pretty good topics moving forward. Okay.
By the way, before we close the conversation there, I just want to say, how many running backs did the Bills draft this year?
None. Not a one.
Zero. Just wanted to fit that in there. Sorry.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes I have takes and they're incorrect. Now, every take that I have comes with tons of research, and I still feel like the Bills should have considered a running back in the draft, but they didn't. And where they drafted or the opportunities that they had in the first round, they were already gone. So running back in first round is still a thing. Just the Bills didn't get an opportunity to even sniff Travis Etienne or sniff Najee Harris because, well, they were gone.
That was my very first argument on the no running back in the first round for the Bills.
But, Denver got your guy from North Carolina.
Yeah. I think he's going to be a great fit in Denver.
That was really cool. So I still think running back is a need. I am pound the table on running back for sure. It's something that I think they need in the future. But you know what? If it wasn't there on your board, like not on your board, but if the guy wasn't there's no need to stretch and just try to put somebody in there to fill a position. I think that's how we got into a lot of situations, drought years, just because we need this well, we're just going to take that one right there, you know? And so I do appreciate the fact that the Bills are methodical and they stick to their guns, you know. Yeah, right.
Who has 9 fingers?
Yeah. Randy, okay, great. You guys are right on that. But
some love for Antonio Williams. We did skip him too, but I would love to see if they're able to keep him on the roster. He probably has to show something on special teams in order to make it.
He's being sarcastic as hell.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Brandon Riley.
Who's Brandon Riley?
Exactly. Everybody's about Antonio Williams. No, he ain't nothing.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna be doing nothing.
No, talk about Brandon Riley every offseason for some reason.
And God forbid we mention the other running back that's on this team.
Oh, you better not.
Taiwan Jones.
Oh, God. Yeah, right. No, man. But
British running back.
So listen, no, it feels really nice to talk football once again. Like this is the Wade train. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my Griff, what's up, man? He says the Wade train. Oh my God, just stop it. But
I didn't say it. They did.
I know, man. It feels really good to talk football with you guys again, man. We got a lot of really cool topics and things coming up for you guys this season. Duke Williams is canceled. He's done. And we're just going to keep it moving and keep it punching. But hey, welcome to season 2 of the Hoof Live. I am your host, Sterling. We have Anthony over there and Eric on the bottom here, and we are signing out of here. We're going to see you next week.
Good to be back, gentlemen.
Can't wait. Here we go.
Go Bills.